Sea War Museum in northern Denmark says it has found a missing Nazi submarine. Researchers released these renderings of a German U-boat.
For decades, historians have agreed that Adolf Hitler died in Berlin in 1945 and that the Nazi regime ended at that time. But what if part of that story isn't quite complete? Recently, a deep-sea survey off the coast of Argentina detected something unusual. Sonar operators saw an object that didn't belong in that location. When underwater cameras were lowered, the object became clear: a German submarine from the World War II era. That discovery immediately raised questions, and everything about the story began to change. Before the team could finish documenting the vessel, the live feed suddenly cut out. Naval ships arrived, and the site was sealed. The Argentine government classified the discovery for the next 100 years. And that is what makes this so surprising. Why would authorities lock away a sunken submarine for an entire century? What was a German U-boat doing thousands of miles from Europe? And if it really reached Argentina, what, or who, might it have carried? This isn't just about a wreck at the bottom of the ocean. It's about the secrets it might hold, and why certain powers prefer that no one ask too many questions. Let's take a closer look. The ghost submarines. By the spring of 1945, Nazi Germany was collapsing. Soviet forces were advancing from the east, Allied armies from the west, and Berlin was surrounded. Inside the city, the Third Reich was counting down its final days. As Soviet troops neared his bunker, Adolf Hitler took his own life. His aides burned his body, Germany surrendered shortly after, and the war in Europe officially ended. That is the story most people know, but history is rarely that simple. While the world watched Berlin fall, escape routes were opening across southern Europe. These later became known as rat lines, networks of safe houses, forged papers, and secret transport meant to move top Nazi officials out of Europe. Argentina, in particular, became a common destination. Its government was friendly to former Nazis, its borders were porous, and it was far from the European battlefields. For decades, historians treated this as a minor footnote. Some Nazis escaped, yes, but the assumption was that they quietly disappeared into exile across South America. Then, the story took a shocking turn. In July 1945, just 2 months after Germany's surrender, a German submarine surfaced in the Argentine port of Mar del Plata. Authorities were stunned. German U-boats were supposed to surrender or be scuttled in Europe. This submarine had crossed the Atlantic. It was U-530. Argentine officials, later joined by American intelligence, interrogated the crew and searched for secret landings or hidden passengers. But there were no logs, no records, and no clear answers. The case was quietly closed, yet the questions lingered. On August 17, 1945, weeks later, another German submarine arrived at the same port, U-977. Unlike U-530, this was a smaller Type 7 submarine, not designed for long ocean crossings. Yet its commander claimed to have traveled across the Atlantic anyway. Once again, authorities searched, found no logs, and received no definitive explanations. 2 German submarines had reached Argentina after the war. Both offered carefully controlled accounts. Both lacked proper documentation. And both left more questions than answers. The discovery on March 17, 2024. A private oceanographic team set out on a routine deep-sea mapping mission in the South Atlantic, near Patagonia. Their task was straightforward: conduct high-resolution seabed scans to prepare for a new transatlantic fiber-optic cable connecting South America to Europe. On board were marine geologists, sonar analysts, and specialists in remotely operated underwater vehicles. The team expected another uneventful survey. But 3 days in, about 280 kilometers east of the Argentina coastline, A sonar operator noticed something strange. The anomaly didn't look like any natural formation. It was long, symmetrical, and precise. At first, the team thought it might be signal interference. They reran the scans, adjusting angles and frequencies. The outline stayed the same. The object had distinct boundaries, smooth curves, and a length far larger than anything natural in the area. How could something like that remain hidden in such a vast ocean? The team deployed remotely operated drones for a closer look. As the cameras descended into the darkness, the shape became unmistakable. It wasn't a typical shipwreck. It was a submarine, rusted, damaged, and clearly from the Second World War. Yet nothing about it matched known records. Its size, hull design, and construction details did not align with any submarine officially lost in the South Atlantic. There was no documented reason for a German U-boat or any wartime vessel to be there. The discovery was quietly reported, and attention grew quickly. Authorities soon took control of the site. Civilian access was restricted, and the operation was reclassified. Naval vessels sealed off the area. A brief official statement followed. Everything discovered aboard the unidentified submarine, including its precise location, had been classified as a state secret for 100 years. But what exactly was this submarine, and why would it be hidden for an entire century? To answer that, we need to look back at the history behind these mysterious vessels, the Patagonia submarine. The modern discovery off the coast of Patagonia changed everything. Leaked accounts from those involved in the recovery reveal that the submarine didn't match any known German combat class. It had no torpedo tubes, no visible weapon mounts. Its hull was unusually smooth, designed for endurance rather than attack. Every detail suggested one purpose: travel, not war. Engineers studying the vessel concluded it was made for long-distance crossings in near silence. The interior layout was different from standard wartime submarines. Corridors were wider. Living quarters appeared deliberately comfortable. This wasn't a combat vessel. It was designed to protect something, or someone, on a single irreversible journey. When robotic arms finally opened the sealed compartments, nothing typical of a military hall appeared. No gold, no weapons. Instead, the finds were deeply personal. The first compartment contained paintings in climate-controlled cases. Art historians recognized several pieces from Adolf Hitler's private collection. Art long thought destroyed in Berlin. These were not looted treasures. They were the works he cherished, carefully preserved. The second compartment held architectural models, miniature cities, monumental domes, endless halls, plans for Germania, the future capital that never existed. Each model was meticulously packed. The third compartment was the most unsettling. Shielded in lead, it contained personal uniforms, annotated books, and 2 sealed steel containers. One held complete medical records from Theodore Morell, X-rays, test results, and detailed medications tracking Hitler's health decline. The second contained Eva Braun's jewelry and her personal diary. Together, the contents made one thing clear: this submarine was not an escape vessel. Everything aboard pointed the same way. It wasn't meant to carry fugitives into a new life. It was designed to preserve a legacy, even as the regime collapsed. Outro: if the Patagonia submarine is authentic, it forces us to rethink how carefully the last chapter of the war was managed. This was not a desperate escape or secret survival story. It was a measured, deliberate effort to carry memory and legacy beyond the fall. What do you think this submarine was truly meant to do? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll be uncovering more incredible stories like this in the coming weeks. Until next time, Thanks for watching.